to the Hanford Dixon Show. I'm Gabriella Cruz alongside the top dog, Hanford Dixon. I'm really excited because on today's show, we've got one of your old pals, Felix Wright, coming on. You got to tell us a little bit about him as a player.
You know what? I'm so happy to have him come on. He is the pick master, pretty boy pick master, as we called him. And Gab also had a chance to sit down with him at the game a little bit. I always see him at the game, but this time we had Frank Minifield at the game. So the three of us, we were up there in the Cardiac Club and just had a blast. But Felix was a guy. We call him Pickmaster because the ball always seems to find him. He comes up with a lot of interceptions, but he was an outstanding player. And Gab, he was a guy, as you already know, he wasn't drafted, but he should have been drafted because he played like it. But an outstanding free safety, and without Felix, I don't think Frank and I maybe would have had the success that we had as far as the Corner brothers.
Super cool. I'm excited to chat with him. Definitely overcame some adversity there to prove himself, and we'll hear more from Felix Wright after this. Thanks for watching.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
That's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yap.
Welcome to Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. And you saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice beefy 255 playing middle linebacker.
Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. What are you doing?
I'm laughing at you and your hair. And you know what? I'm just glad, and I've told you time and time again, I'm just so happy I don't have that problem, that hair problem, you know.
He's so glad.
You get on me for going to the barbershop once a week. You're like, why are you going to the barbershop once a week? Because you don't have any hair. And you're right, I don't have any hair, but I like to go to the barbershop because I like to listen to all the talk and all the things they say in the barbershop.
Yeah, that's so true.
Still, I have to be neat though. I have to keep that hair.
You're well manicured, my friend.
Thank you, Gab. Thank you. Well, I have to being on the show with you.
Well, speaking of looking good, we got Pretty Boy Flex joining us for our featured interview. Our featured interview brought to you by Northeast Factory Direct, former Brown safety and a Cleveland football legend, dubbed the Pick Master by Marty Schottenheimer. Undrafted out of Drake University, Felix Wright, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, hey, I appreciate it. I've never been called Pretty Boy, so I really appreciate that, and I'm going to have to take that into account.
That's what I'm going
to go by now.
This is what Hanford told us.
Look,
back in the day.
Listen to me. He know now. All the babes, all the girls call him Pretty Boy Flex or Pretty Boy Pick Master, something like that. And men and I, we get jealous, but that's all right. He's the Pick Master. Can you get a bark out of him? See if you can get a bark out of him.
Let's go.
Nah, I'm not much of a barker, but
I know it'd be tough.
He lets his looks do the barking.
You and many of the original guys, put that together.
Hey, did you hear?
But you know what was pretty cool is that I don't know if you told Gabby that we got to me, you, and Minifield got together up at the Cardiac Club this last Saturday. And we all had a great time, and it was funny because when I took off my hat, none of us had any hair.
That's right.
Is that because y'all were so fast it just flew off over time?
Yeah. I don't know what that is about the brothers. None of the brothers have hair.
Look at her. You ought to see her. She's laughing at that one.
Oh, man. I love to hear your guys' old stories.
Gab, he just hit on that, though. It was fun, though, because the three of us, it's been a while since normally we get together at least once a year, I would say, and play golf together. But Minifield and Flex, correct me if I'm wrong. Now, it's been a while since Minifield has been here in the stadium to watch a game, right?
Exactly. Well, we when we golfed in Dayton, I think it was last year, he swore up and down he would never come back to a game because he just didn't feel that the Browns organization takes care of the alumni that he thinks this should be taken care of, and he vowed that he would never come back. But leave it up to you. You were able to talk him into coming back, and I think he really enjoyed himself, and he wants to come back. And hang out because we had such a good time. But it was really awesome because when I came into Cardiac Club and I saw you two and the people that was surrounded us, it just let me know that we still meant something to the fans and to the people of Cleveland.
Well, yeah, and that's why I thought it was very important to get him to come back because I know he had that attitude and to try to patch up things between him and the Browns, and I think we went a long way in doing that, and I think he feels comfortable, and I think he feels a little bit different now about how they treat the alumni because I think you and I can account for it. They treat us pretty good. I mean, I think they treat the alumni pretty good.
The fans in the city definitely appreciate you guys. And you know what? Your former university also appreciates you. Felix, you got a chance to speak at Drake recently. How did that go?
Yeah, that went really well. In fact, the coach at Drake is actually from Ohio. Coach Todd Stepsis, and we talk quite often. And he's been the head coach there for probably like the last 6 or 7 years. And we talk quite often. I usually go back for the Drake relays every year, and we have a wonderful time together. And every once in a while, he'll invite me to come to speak with the team. And I really enjoy going back and kind of just, communicating with the guys to tell them that, hey, whatever your goals that you want to do in football, to stick with them. I mean, even though we were a smaller division, actually when I was there, we were a Division I program. Now it's a Division III program, so we don't get a lot of recognition down there, but it's still a good football program, and they love their football there in Des Moines. We're kind of nestled there in Des Moines, right in between Iowa and Iowa State, which get all the publicity. But, there's still opportunities for those guys to kind of stick with it. And if they stick with it and do the things they're supposed to do, they'll still get that opportunity.
Flex, have you been keeping up with the Cleveland Browns preseason at all? Do you have any thoughts? And, obviously a bunch of the starters.
I have because I've worked the first 2 games on the sidelines, so I've seen it firsthand.
So you are working. Great. Tell the people, just for those who don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm an NFL inspector, and actually I'm coming into my 24th year of doing it. In fact, we brought Reggie Langhorn on 10 years ago, so I think this is his 10th or 11th year doing it with me. And basically what we do is we just kind of protect the sponsorship from being sabotaged. They're, like Nike's the official apparel sponsor, New Air's the official cap, Gatorade is the official drink of the NFL, and we just kind of make sure that those sponsors get taken care of and not being sabotaged in any way. So I get a chance to watch the whole game from the sidelines. And you know what? We really haven't gotten a true look yet on what we're going to look like because none of our starters have really played, which is kind of strange because I remember when Hanford and I played back in the day, we played the first preseason game. We played at least a quarter. Yeah. And then, as the 4 preseason games that we used to have back in the day, heck, that last game, we were playing pretty much the whole game to get ready for the regular season. And nowadays it's so much different is that the guys don't even play. But what surprised me is that I saw Patrick Mahomes and I saw Joe Burrow. I saw, the guys in Pittsburgh playing, and we still haven't played our starters, which was a little weird to me. So I know that the guys, Stefanski and the coaching staff know what they're doing, but it was a little surprising that I didn't get a chance to see him play this past Saturday.
Now, Deshaun is supposed to play in the finale. You think we'll see that?
I think he will. I think he, like Flex just hit on, I think he really has to play. I mean, because how else are you going to get ready for a game? I mean, especially him because he's coming off that shoulder injury and he's got to be hit. He's got to know how that shoulder is going to respond. And you could say what you want to say. You could do those little drills in practice and go against the defense and all that, but you never know until it's like full speed live. And they're putting in, they got a new offensive coordinator too. I mean, so there's a lot of things they need to work on. And I think Flex, you made a really interesting point right there. First of all, you talked about us, the way we did it. We played in the first game. We played in the second game. We played in the third game. And the fourth game, we played pretty much the whole preseason game. And but here's a very interesting thing. You talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, Mahomes. I mean, you talk about a team that won the Super Bowl. I mean, they won the Super Bowl, and here they have their guy out there, and he's playing at least a quarter, maybe 2 quarters, and getting the work in. And for us not to play our guys, our starters, I mean, they sit there on the sideline, and God bless them. I mean, to each his own. They do what they want to do. But I always wanted to play. Didn't you want to play some, Flex, to get ready?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't think you can just jump in and
turn
go
it on
full
and
speed.
off. Yeah.
I think you need to work. You need the game time experience. And every year at the beginning of the year, you need to get that jump start, and that's where you get it. That's the reason why we have training camp, to get that jump start to where, that opening day you're ready to rock and roll. And and you got all your injuries and your little nagging injuries out of the way, hopefully in preseason, and you're ready to rock and roll. So. I mean, when you don't play in the preseason, it's like when and you start the post, the regular season, you can't just start off full speed going from 0 to 100. I think you need to work your way into it.
I want to ask you this before we get into, and we're going to ask you a lot more, a couple other football questions, but again. Gab, what he does is Flex, again, he told you he shows up every game. He's on the sideline. He's making sure the players wear the right uniforms and do the right things on the sideline. But I have a question for you. Is there anybody that any of the players that got mad at you or anything about?
Yeah, Mr. Stiff over here keeping everybody in check.
Anybody get mad at your dog?
Flex
I mean,
is a
seriously?
little snitch probably, isn't he?
No. What's funny, because because I've been doing it for so long, and the young guys that I go up to and say, hey man, we got to change that up.
Yeah.
They get a little fired up because I just say, hey, listen, I'm just trying to keep money in your pocket. They're going to take it if you don't correct the violation that you have. I said, so that's the reason why I'm here to tell you, so you will not get fined. And then once I explain it to them, then they kind of, turn down. But the veterans, the guys that's been around a while, they understand. And I know back in the day we wore our uniform the way it was supposed to be worn.
Right.
I mean, we got a little crazy there. When we get in the playoffs, we paint our shoes orange, which was kind of cool, which everybody liked. But nowadays, it just seems like a lot of the players want to be trendsetters, which. Trendsetters is okay, but it's got to be within the guidelines. So we just make sure that, they're doing right by the sponsors, that they're not sabotaging any of them, like the Nike. Anytime a ball player, coach, or referee walks outside that locker room, they got to be Nike down, and they can't have any other product on. And so that's really the major thing that we really look at to make sure that they're taken care of.
We're chatting with the NFL inspector, former Browns safety, the pickmaster, Felix Wright. We're going to take a short break, but we're going to be back because we have a couple more football questions for you, Flex. Thanks so much for joining us.
All right.
We were called soft last year. You don't want to be soft, especially when you come to the playoffs. So that's going to be a process throughout this season of establishing us as a harder team here in the
Kentucky Derby, as Authentic takes them around the far turn. Tis the Laws making his move now, and they're into the stretch. These two stride for stride. Authentic, tis the Law. Here's the wire. Authentic has won the Kentucky Derby.
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it, he's That's ridiculous.
Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. We are joined by Felix Wright, continuing to pick his brain. He is an NFL inspector, but he's also the pick master.
I like that. Pick his brain. Pick master.
I was hoping that
that
pun wouldn't go unnoticed, Top Dog.
I like that.
Nothing gets past you. Thanks for that. We got to talk about his picks. The pick master, pretty boy pick master. 29 picks in 121 games. 2 pick sixes. So that we did the math here. That's about 25% of the time there. You're getting those picks, mister. And you led the league in 89. So we got to gas him up a little bit, Hanford.
Well, Gab, let me say this. You got some people, when they show on the field, they just lucky. They just lucky, and the ball just come directly to him. And it didn't hurt.
Catch it.
It didn't hurt that he can catch. You're right. It didn't hurt that he can catch. So, because how you going to have that many picks? You got to be pretty good to have that many picks in that amount of games now. But, of course, we're talking to the pick master. Ain't that right, dog?
Hey, it was one of the, that's something that was stuff that I dreamed of and really worked on, because, you really can't practice, interceptions, but you can do the film study, and you and Minifield were the best film study guys I've ever been around. And so when you do the film study, the plays and you know what they're about to run, so you can anticipate. So, when you know what they're trying to get you with, and you can get a step on them, that's how you get those picks. So, maybe some of the Brownies are doing that this year. Maybe they can get a few more picks than they have in the past.
Flex, is there, throughout your career, out of all the picks you've had, is there one that just stand out in your mind that you just think was an outstanding play?
Yes, it was in 1987. It was on Monday Night Football, and it was our first game back from the strike. And we were, it was a very tough time for all of us, because we were out there on the picket line, and that was a very troubling time for us, and a lot of mixed emotions, because we had people cross the line that we didn't think would cross the line. And
we won't call any names. Now, don't call no names. Now, leave that one alone.
And it was a very tough time for us. Finances. We weren't getting paid, and finally they came to an agreement. And luckily, the replacement players that we had, kept our record intact. I think they went undefeated. And then we played, we came back in and we practiced for a couple of days, and we had the Rams coming in town. And, and I wasn't a starter at the time in that game, because I think that was like our third or fourth game of the season. But we played the opener, and then we set out for the next couple. And the first interception I got, it was that, they were throwing it, we were in the dog pound end zone, and I intercepted the ball in the end zone and ran it back, I think, 68 yards to put us in position to score a touchdown. And then the next series, we come back and he throws another interception, and I take it back for, I think it was like 70 yards. And that's probably the one that kind of defined my career. The one I took back for a touchdown right before halftime. And after that particular interception in that game, I never looked back. I was in the starting lineup the next game and for the rest of my career. So that was the defining moment of my career, where I became a starter versus being a backup player.
Gab, I think one of the most important things about his career, I mean, you mentioned it when you were introducing him, you're talking about an undrafted player. And me, they expected me to be good, because obviously I was a first-round draft pick out of Southern Mississippi. But Felix talked about it. He came out of Drake University. And Felix, what division was it again?
When I played, we were Division I, but we were a small school in the Missouri Valley. This didn't get a lot of recognition. Like we said, we're nestled in Des Moines, Iowa, probably about 30 minutes from Ames, Iowa State, and probably about an hour from from Iowa City, which is where the Iowa Hawkeyes are. So we just didn't really get any publicity. We weren't on TV. So it was hard to get a lot of recognition down there. In fact, that's the reason why I feel like I didn't really get an opportunity the first year I got out, because, I had to go teach school for a year. And then, went to a tryout camp and made it that way. So, and that's the situation that, the people at Drake now, because now they actually when I left Drake, they dropped football for a couple of years, and then they came back non-scholarship Division III. So it's even tougher now for those guys, but they still enjoy it. And some of them still have opportunities where they do get an opportunity to try out for a couple of teams. So, but yeah. You were an excellent ball player, obviously a first rounder, which is a pretty awesome feat. And that a starter from day one. And I tell you what, I don't know if I've ever told you guys, but you and Minnie, I really looked up to you guys, and like I said, you really helped me in my career, mostly by helping me study for the game, because when I came to the Browns, I played up in the CFL, and we didn't we did film study, but we didn't do it in the depth that we did it with Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the reason why we had so much success, is because we were able to predict, on some of the things that they were trying to affect us with. And we would shut it down because we knew what they were trying to do against us. So, I think that's the reason why the Kansas City Chiefs are so good as well.
Yeah.
Because they know what the opponents are trying to do to them, and that's just being a student of the game. And I think if you're a student of the game, good things are going to happen to you.
Well, let me tell you this, and this is no BS. I knew you were good when you came in, because there was just a certain kind of chemistry that we had, meaning all four of us in that backfield. And I know you guys have probably heard me say this before. I can look at Felix and know that he's got my back, because I'm getting ready to do something crazy over there on that corner, and I'm going to need him to bag me up. But enough of me giving you all the praise and all this stuff. Let me ask you this. This is crazy to me. Them changing that new kickoff rule, I still don't understand it. I mean, I don't think they understand it on the field there. It's just crazy that I could see some of the things, but my understanding is maybe they may tweak it again before the season starts. But I think sometimes the NFL and those guys, they have too much time on their hand to do that. And my understanding is why they really did it was because during the Super Bowl, they didn't have one kickoff return.
Yeah, you were saying.
During the Super Bowl, so I think that's why they changed. But Flex, I would like to see them just go back to the old kickoff. What do you think?
Yeah, you know what? I got asked a question the other day about the new kickoff, and I says, I don't really understand it. I mean, I know that they line up on the 40 and the 35, and the kicker's back at his regular spot at the 30, 35-yard lines, and he kicks it, and the returner, they can't do anything until the returner catches the ball.
Right.
And I said, well, I understand that part of it. And I said, if they don't return it, it sets back and goes to the 20 or the 35. But I don't really understand the rule. But then the question came to me, well, what if it's late in the game and they want to do an onside kick? And I'm like, I'm not sure about that.
Right. And you know what was interesting? Did you see when the Browns in the game got the safety? Now, normally when you get a safety, you come back and you punt the ball.
Exactly.
And that's not the case right now. What if you notice they came out and they kicked it off like they were kicking the ball off. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened. So it's really, really strange and really, really weird. Flex, we got to take a break, but if you could, we just want to ask you a couple more questions about the Cleveland Browns, this football team. If you could hold on for just a few seconds while Gabby put us in a break here.
Yes, you were doing great. You could drop the mic there.
Not like you, though.
Okay,
Not
all right.
like
We'll
you.
be back with more Hanford Dixon Show and Felix Wright right after this.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
That's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yap.
Welcome to Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. You saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice beefy 255 playing middle linebacker.
Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. We are joined by Felix, Wright. We're chatting everything, NFL, football, Browns. One of the things I wanted to ask you, Flex, is about, you were talking about team chemistry, Hanford, and just knowing Felix had your back. How important is that chemistry? We've been seeing these videos of Jameis Winston, for example, just getting the team amped up for these pre-games. A lot of those pre-game speeches have been just like making the rounds. He seems like a big chemistry guy, brings everyone together. How important is that? And then, did you guys ever have somebody like that when you played, who was that kind of upper for the team?
You want me to take it first, dog?
Yeah, go ahead, dog. Go
I'll
ahead.
take it first. Me personally, we wasn't a big rah-rah guy like that. I mean, everybody has their own way of getting themselves ready for a ball game, and if I had to depend on Felix to make a speech to get me ready for a ball
Here
game,
he comes with this little old head answer.
We'd be in trouble. I mean, I wouldn't even. I'd be looking at Flex like, what the? Can you sit down or something? What you talking about, man? I mean, give me an old rah-rah speech.
Right.
I know what I have to do when I get out there. I don't need Jameis Winston. And listen to me. Whatever works, I mean, for everybody, I mean, that's good. If that speech gets them ready to play a ball game and get them all fired up, I'm all for it. I mean, I'm just all for it. But personally, we just didn't need all that. And we didn't have, and to answer your question, we just didn't have that particular guy that would give us a speech or something like that. I mean, I like to hear Marty Schottenheimer have to answer to that one, Flex.
Right, exactly.
Marty would say, a speech? Shit, you better get out there, boy. Let's go play some ball.
But Marty was a good motivator, was he not?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
how did he motivate?
Yeah. Look at you. Look at you crazy. That's what he would
do. We were as far as the teams I played on with the Browns, we were the most prepared team that I'd ever been with.
Yes.
We, like I said, we knew what they were going to be trying to do against us, and we knew what we were going to do against them to change up some of the things that they tried to do to attack us. We were very prepared. And, before games, different people, different players have, different ways they get ready for a game. For me, when I got in the locker room, I would lay in my locker almost falling half asleep because I just wanted to relax because I knew I was going to exert a lot of energy out there and didn't want to be one of those guys that go out and rah, because when you go out and you do the rah, you got to back it up.
Yeah.
So, but Jameis, I'm a Jameis Winston fan.
Me too.
I've loved that guy since he was at Florida State.
Me too.
And he's a guy, and I'm glad we have him. I think he's going to be a great guy for us, and we're going to need him too, because as you know, people go down, quarterbacks go down every week, and I think he's just kind of like a younger Flacco. He's a gunslinger. He's going to get you lots of touchdowns, and he may give you a few interceptions as well. But he's going to be a legitimate guy to take us to the promised land if something ever happens to Deshaun. But as far as having somebody get up and speak, I remember Eddie Johnson used to get up and say a few words for us, and Eddie was a well-liked guy. And always got us pumped up, always got us motivated, and he was one of the dogs.
Yeah. But speaking of Jameis, and I think we're all on the same page. Hopefully we don't need him. Hopefully Deshaun can go out and just, But again, in this league, I mean, this is the National Football League. You're gonna have injuries. I mean, they're gonna be there. So hopefully we don't need him. But it's gonna be interesting to seat. Flex, I got to ask you this. Tell me your opinion. You talking about being prepared, ready to go. I'm going to tell you one player I watch on this football team right now that I think is just outstanding, and I think this guy studies a lot, DAWG.
Oh yeah.
Can't you tell by the plays that he make and his
He's
reads?
one step ahead.
Yeah, he's one step ahead all the time.
Absolutely.
And you get to see it up close down there.
Well, and you know what? Really, you know, when I really saw that, it was in the playoff game against Houston. You know, we got beat in that game last year. He was on every play, and his reaction time when he saw it, he went.
Yeah.
And made plays. And I thought he was probably other than Myles Garrett, that he could have possibly been the MVP of the Browns defense last year. He improved so much from the year before, and I think that's the reason why he got extended quickly, because there was ever no talk about him wanting an extension. It just kind of popped up. So I think they recognized that he had gotten much better and was becoming a good leader in the clubhouse. I don't think he's very vocal. I think he's more of a quiet kind of guy, just like Mark Harper, Quiet Storm.
Yeah.
But like you said, he got that extension, which I think was a surprise for me. That it came kind of with no bickering about it. So, but I think he is our best linebacker that's today. So we got two new linebackers now. We got a different middle linebacker. We got a different strong linebacker. So we'll see how those guys come through in the coming weeks.
Hey, Flex, speaking of reaction time, real quick before we let you go, Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul is back on. I know you said this is at the Cowboys Stadium. You were interested in going. This is November 15th, Cowboys Stadium. Do you have any what do you think? Is Mike Tyson, he's 58. Has he got a chance here?
You know what? I know there's a big age difference, but Mike Tyson, if you've checked out some of his workouts and some of the things he's done, he's still a dangerous guy. Paul's he seems like he's getting better as a boxer. But he hasn't I don't think he's fought a real boxer that,
right.
This technique and technique sound as a Tyson. I mean, Tyson was a beast. Now, like I said, he's a little older now, but if you've looked at his workouts, he still can hit pretty hard. And if he catches him, I mean, I can't bet because, I work for the league. But if somebody were to ask me, I'd say I'd probably have to go with Tyson in that if they're a betting man. But I'm not.
Hey, man, I can see Tyson catching him with one of those rights or something. Just take him. Can't you see Paul just wobbling around? Who's that guy from that wide receiver that did the little waddle? You know what I mean?
Right.
But only difference is he would fall. This one more question about JOK. Have you seen? My understanding is he's won an award for the best dress. Did you, Doug? Have you ever seen him coming in? Before a game.
Yeah, I have. He dresses different, a little different.
Yeah.
No logos on those outfits. Those are all custom made, my guy.
He's looking sharp.
Right.
Fletch, real quick. Go ahead.
I think the funniest guy that comes in is Joko. I think he's a funny dude, man. The outfits he comes in with. He's
got half of it missing usually, right?
Yeah. When the shirtless.
You know who I really like? I like when Wyatt Teller comes in.
Yeah.
Because it's just him in like t-shirt and khaki shorts.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess they were like basketball shorts. It's awesome.
Hey, real quick, man. What do you think of this team this year? Your opinion? Playoffs.
Well, last year I predicted that they would win 11 games, and that's what they did. And I get asked that a lot from family members, and I just think that they're pretty much got the same team again, and I think we've hopefully refined and gotten better. I just think we'll win probably 10 to 11 games again. We'll get into playoffs. We were, I think, 3-3 last year in our conference. I think we need to, win those road games against our conference, like the Pittsburghs and the Baltimores. And I think we just need to win those conference games to get us a home game playoff. So if we can get a playoff game in Cleveland, I think we'll be successful and we'll be able to move to the next level. I'm not greedy, so I just want to get 2 playoff games and then, and see where we can go from there. Because the last couple of years we've gotten at least 1 game, and successful in 1 in Pittsburgh, unsuccessful in 1 in Houston. And I think if we can bring a playoff game to Cleveland, the fans and will help us prevail.
Well, I agree. I agree with you. We got to win the division, and to win the division, I mean, then we're down to 2 games. But you hit it right on the head. I think it's just absolutely crazy. I mean, you look at this football team, and especially our defense, and Gab and I have talked about it. They play well at home, but when they go on the road, I mean, they can't play well.
Yeah.
Who would have told me? I would have never thought that we would go on the road in Houston and let a rookie quarterback beat this defense the way our defense has been playing all year. I thought that was crazy. So
it was crazy.
All right, dog. Well, we won't.
right.
Yeah,
he's gonna Gab for me bringing him on and holding this long.
he's gonna ask you how much you owe him.
Well, not only that, he's gonna. I know he's got something that he's gonna
Ask you to do.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna make me do. I know it. And I can't help, but I gotta be right there whenever he has. Don't we have a golf game or something coming up, big dog?
Yeah. Well, I'm still trying to put the dates together, man, but I'm going to figure it out and let you know.
Well, I got to say this. Flex is going to be also at the Dog Pound celebration we have coming on for the Giants game that week, and we're going to do it at Lake Captain's Stadium. So you guys can go on the Lake Captain's website and get your tickets for that. So we're going to have a lot of the guys. Minifield, again, will come back in for that. So it's going to be a great thing, and we're also tying in the food bank.
Okay, real nice.
With that, yeah.
Nice to see the dogs all back together for a good cause.
But boy, so happy to have my dog in here. You could tell though, my face just lights up when one of my boys or something come in here. So you can tell the closeness that we have.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, Felix, and we'd like to have you on more if it's not too much trouble. We enjoy hearing from you, and we love the pretty boy Flex face.
Oh my goodness!
I appreciate you, Gabby.
Goodness! No! Don't tell him that, Gab.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. That was our featured interview brought to you by Northeast Factory Direct. Always great.
All right, dog.
Chatting with Flex.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye.
All right, we're going to take another break, and we'll be back with more Hanford Dixon Show right after this.
We were called soft last year. You don't want to be soft, especially when you come to the playoffs. So that's going to be a process throughout this season of establishing us as a harder team here in the.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby as Authentic takes them around the far turn. 'Tis the Laws making his move now, and they're into the stretch. These two stride for stride. Authentic, 'tis the Law. Here's the wire. Authentic has won the Kentucky Derby.
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. That last segment was brought to you by Northeast Factory Direct, our interview with Felix Wright. Hanford, if you're looking to update your home, you've got to check out Northeast Factory Direct. They have furniture, kitchen cabinets, hot tubs, mattresses, and so much more for way less than all those fancy, expensive places. You know, they're cutting out the middleman, so they're saving you. They're cutting you the deal. You can shop online also at northeastfactorydirect.com or visit any of their stores in Cleveland, Euclid, Macedonia, or North Canton. And don't forget to ask about the Big Play bonus. Get you a little more off.
You know what? You better, when you go in there, just tell them that the top dog sent you. Just say, Hanford Dixon, we heard it on the Hanford Dixon Show, and the top dog sent us in here. And you talking about a discount or a bonus, you will get that bonus or discount. You know, we talked about this, but eventually, hopefully, what we're going to do is we're going to do some kind of
a giveaway.
Giveaway.
Like a recliner
yeah.
giveaway. So stay tuned.
Yeah, because you know how everybody sit in their recliner and they watch the game. Well, not everybody, but, you know,
I know that you tape enough games
Probably.
that you're sitting in a recliner.
Yeah,
at some
probably
point to,
dad or
to
somebody.
rewatch.
Yeah, or watching the game. But these guys, boy, you talking about save you some money. But it surprised me. I mean, I knew they had some locations, but I didn't know they had that many.
Yeah, they've really grown a lot, and they're cool people too. Alex, I mentioned last show, but I've known him for a minute. Actually, he was one of the dads of I ran cross country and track with his daughter. Really, just a cool family, and the business has grown a lot, and they're good people.
Well, I have to. Since you're talking about cross country and track and all that, I know it's over right now. But
did you see the Noah Lyles Tyreek Hill thing?
Oh, how did you know where I was
going
going
to ask
with
you
that?
about that, actually.
How did you know where I was going with that?
Okay, let me ask you, who do you think would win in a race?
I think no, Cheetah can't do it. He can't beat him. He can't beat him.
I'm glad we're on the same page, because I was gonna roast you if you were gonna say
but Gabby, I watched some of those, some of those runners, and it's just amazing what they could do, and I was just so happy for a lot of those people that performed in the Olympics, especially for the United States.
There were some big things that happened in this Olympics, and then just a ton of things that didn't come to fruition. Like Noah was supposed to do the double and win gold in 1 and the 2. He's got a documentary going and everything, but then he got COVID. Kind of crazy. But and you know what? I don't know if you noticed, he had such a bad start. He was dead last in that race until the halfway point, and he came back a lot like Usain Bolt used to do.
Yeah.
He's got the closing speed. And just, it was like, 0.01 of a second. Lyles gets the win. A lot of people don't like his personality because he's a little cocky or whatnot. He's great for my sport, baby. I love track and field. I love to see it.
Right. I don't have a problem with him being cocky. I have no problem with that, because I was always a very cocky guy. But, Gab, I was very fast, too.
I know it.
I mean, I could come out the blocks now.
You could come out the blocks? What was your lead leg? Just out of curiosity, what was your lead leg? Do you remember?
I could come out of the blocks, but I never.
Off of which
let me tell you what I did, though.
No,
I'm gonna tell you this. I ran track.
Yeah.
And I said, when I went out there, and then the coach gave me this this list of things that I had to do. I said, man, you have lost your mind. I said, there's no way. And I didn't run track anymore.
Hanford's one of those guys. He's like, if there's a lot going on, I think I'll pass. You gotta keep your chin down. You gotta explode out of the box. You gotta lean into the drive phase, get into acceleration. Maybe it was too many details for you. I don't know.
I just thought that was, and I'm mad because didn't we tie with China for the number of gold medals? I think for the number, I think it was 26. We had 26 gold, and I feel
like track and field alone was like crushing it.
It was crushing it. They were killing them.
Yeah,
but overall, the overall medal count, I mean, we killed everybody as far as that's concerned. Okay. But I just wanted to see us win more gold than anyone else, and China had to sneak in there with us. So I was really upset.
Winning gold in like badminton.
I like to see you get out there, though. I like to see you. You talk about test your ego. Those girls would test your ego out there.
What are you talking about in track?
Yeah.
Oh, sis. I mean, I was at track. I ran track. Like, I understand the gravity of how good.
Did you see her bow up at me because I asked her that question?
No,
she like, wait a minute now. I can hold my own out there.
The thing is, I'm such a track nerd, Hanford. Like, I don't think you understand. I have the utmost respect and understanding for how much discipline goes into that sport. You think you were disciplined, Top Dog?
Yeah.
Y'all went out for a little night of partying, maybe played a couple times after.
Never.
Can't do that track and field. Cannot perform.
Never.
These are the most disciplined athletes we see. Are these track and field athletes who keep close to perfect year round for. All
right, let's take a break and we'll come back and talk a little bit about this Minnesota game.
Sounds good. We'll be back with more Hanford Dixon show right after this.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
That's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yap.
Welcome to Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. You saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice beefy 255 playing middle linebacker.
Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. We've got just a little bit of time left, Hanford. Wanted to get your thoughts recapping the latest Browns preseason game versus Minnesota. What'd you think?
I'm still keeping in mind and thinking to myself, it is preseason, so and a lot of the boys haven't played, but still there are some things we need to get worked out. For instance, we're not rushing the ball well at all. I mean, I think you look at that ball game, we rushed for 56 yards total. They rushed for over 100 yards. You look at it, we had 3 turnovers. Those things we have to get ironed out. But again, a lot of the guys are not playing against this game. But we didn't look good at all. I mean, let's just face it. And we had a few injuries in that ball game. Nothing really serious, but still we had some injuries. So we got to get those guys back. And just looking forward to this the game coming up this week, because that would be the final preseason game.
Yeah, we'll see a lot from the final preseason game, hopefully. We got some offensive tackles who are banged up, and hopefully we see Deshaun, but we haven't been able to gather a ton so far from preseason. Browns losing to Minnesota, but the Guards 2.5 games ahead of Minnesota as of shooting this show. They have been a little hot and cold. How are you feeling about our Guards?
Oh, I still love them. I still love them. I'm not ready to give up on them yet, but big series going on. The Yankees is coming up, and I guarantee you the Guardians have the hardest record, I think, in baseball the remainder of the season. And I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. We just have to. We're going through a rough patch right here. We just got to weather this storm, and I think we'll be okay. But I I don't have to tell you, I love them, and you love them too. Well, you better love them because you're.
Well, I'm emotionally invested because I am so much a part of the season.
Yes.
And I gotta tell you, when the Yankees came into town back in April.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we ended on a high note. We ended up beating them. I think it was a walk-off. It was great to finish like that. But I don't know, between Red Sox fans and Yankees fans, it's just I love to beat the Yankees.
And then you got Judge and Soto. Both of those guys right now, they're extremely hot right now.
We need these Guardians bats to come alive, and for this new rotation we've got going, it's crazy how it's evolved throughout the year, and our starting 5 from preseason or the beginning of the year to what it is now, and the complete change. We're rolling with the punches, though, and I think that's a testament to our farm system that prepares these pitchers for stepping in and being that next man.
I have to ask you a quick question. Can you believe the Guardians are headed toward the playoffs, and the Browns' season is pretty much getting ready to start? Can you believe it?
Excitement coming, Hanford. Yeah, no, I'm pumped. I might have to get me a new shirt or hat or something for both teams just to really get in the spirit.
Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Roof.
Hanford, good show. My guy.
Thanks,
We'll
partner.
see you next week on the Hanford Dixon Show. Thanks for watching.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
It's just, that's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yap.
Welcome to Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. You saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice beefy 255 playing middle linebacker.